Hello, Damien here from Muphart. I'm doing another UFO watch tonight. This is the first time I've done one in quite a while. I think the last time was last week, and I did one last Tuesday. I did two UFO watches last week, one on Monday and one on Wednesday, I believe, or something like that. And I'm doing my first one in over 6 days now. Around here, there hasn't been nearly as many UFO reports lately as there was a few weeks ago. Last week, there was tons of UFO reports around our area, and that's kind of calmed down since then. Our area hasn't seen a lot lately, so I'm hoping to see something, although I can't guarantee anything. But, you know, sometimes when I see UFOs, there's a lot of UFO reports around here, and sometimes when I see them, there's not a lot of UFO reports around here. So I'm hoping the lack of UFO reports around here doesn't spoil the actual results of the UFO investigation tonight. So let's turn out our eye to the night sky and see what we can see. I haven't done a UFO watch in quite a while, so this is the first one in a very long time for me. I've been doing other things for my other channel, which concentrates on video games. There's a lot of news lately about video game moral panics happening. I don't really want to go into them now on this channel because it has nothing to do with UFOs, so you people won't find them interesting, but I find that kind of thing very interesting, so I do different videos on that. I also blog about that too. I also post blog reports on Muphart, Muphart's official blog, and I got an offer recently from UFOhunters.com. I'm going to be collaborator with them soon. It's a really cool thing. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be writing articles on their site about UFOs seen by me in this area and by other people. I'm looking forward to working with them. It might not be a major thing, but it's going to be at least some articles posted on UFO Hunters. So I'll be a UFO Hunters member, which is awesome. I never expected that. I was just a guy looking at the night sky looking for UFOs with a camera. Never expected to be part of another UFO hunting group. But, yeah, that's awesome. It's really interesting that they asked me to collaborate with them because I've given them a lot of UFO reports over the years. I've given them an absolute shit ton of UFO reports with video of every single one, which is incredible. I mean, if I give out a UFO report, it's very rarely ever going to have no video because I film everything I see. If I'm going to be looking at the night sky, it's not going to be without a camera. I'm like that because I've seen so many UFOs. And I want to get them on film because I've seen them a lot more than most people ever have. And when I saw 3 UFOs in 2008 for the first time, I knew right away that I should investigate the night sky regularly, look for more. Especially ones that resemble stars, which is something I'm a kind of expert on, believe it or not. They're kind of tricky to spot ones that appear to be stars because a lot of times they're seen at night on clear or cloudy nights. If you don't have a really good camera, you can't determine if it's a star or not on a clear night. But on the cloudy night, if it's really, really overcast and you see a star, it's definitely not a star, it's a UFO. I've only seen one like that, and that was earlier on last year, January 2014. So I'm keeping an eye on the night sky looking for UFOs tonight. And this is the first UFO watch I've done where that window is open. It's always been shut before then, so you can't see as much because of that. That's just the way it's going to be, I guess, for now on, because it's summertime. I guess it depends on how hot the night is. If it's a really, really hot night, we'll have the window shut and the AC on, so. But, yeah. Me, a UFO Hunters member, that's amazing. That's going to be cool. So yeah, I'm looking forward to posting articles there about my findings specifically. I'm going to do articles posting about like different UFOs I've seen. I'm going to go back to famous UFO hunts, famous UFO footage. I'm going to do a top 10 UFO footage video article there, I think, once I get the ability to log in and write an article. And that will be fun because I'll be showing off the footage my group has gotten on a big site with a big following. I don't know if it's gotten a lot of followers, but this is not the site I have to worry about comments about, which is a good thing because on my other travels as a blogger for video game sites, I shut off comments all the time because I know I'm going to get negative ones due to the fact that gamers are idiots. And a lot of times I'll get some gamers linking to my article on some forum and trashing me, and it's stupid, but it happened recently when I wrote an article about shitty modifications for the series of video games I like called Stalker, and people trashed that article horribly, like, oh no, it's not shitty, wah. It was stupid. But this site, UFO Hunters, doesn't have that problem. The people there don't seem to be too bad, so I don't have to worry about comments, I don't think. I hope that's true. I mean, I don't know, but I guess I'll just post stuff and not read it myself later on, so I don't have to deal with the comments. But yeah, UFO hunting at UFO Hunters, that would be cool. I never told anybody about this. Nobody knows about this, but I'm sure to tell someone else eventually once I get the arrangement complete with them. It's not finalized yet, but it will be soon, I think. I'm going to do at least one nighttime watch this week. I'm going to try to do more than one, but I can't guarantee it. Generally, I don't see a lot of UFOs when I film out my upstairs window because for some reason they just aren't showing up. Although, I did see something that kind of resembled a UFO a few nights ago at that window, but I couldn't film it. Long story short, I didn't have a camera with me when I saw it. A lot of times when I'm looking out windows, I'll see something strange when I don't have a camera. It's really weird. A lot of the UFOs I've seen, I don't have cameras with me while I'm seeing them. And that's a really weird thing. And that just causes me to get really frustrated because I didn't film the thing. Like the UFO at the end of my street, seen in 2009. No camera then because someone else was borrowing it. And really early in the morning, I'm going to bed at like 3:30 in the morning. I look out at the end of the street and there's this gigantic white light that shouldn't be there. And it's brightening up the whole street. It's making like daytime brightness halfway down the street for me. And I couldn't get this thing on film. I have no clue what it was. I went down there the next day to see if there was construction there. Nothing there. But that's like the best UFO report I've ever had. But the fact is I've never seen anything like that since that I could catch on film. I think the best thing I've gotten on film is a star-like UFO I saw February 2014. That particular UFO was really weird when you zoomed in on it. It looked like a gaseous cloud and not a star. It's very strange looking. I don't know what the hell it is. Some people theorize there's gaseous cloud entities living in our atmospheres who are gaseous living beings. That's a theory for UFOs that's quite popular. And I kind of subscribe to that for certain UFO reports. I think I caught one on film last February. It was just standing there, and it was bright and white. It looked like a star from really far away, but it wasn't a star. Once you zoomed in on it, you could tell it wasn't a star, because stars look very different when you zoom in on them. They look like a point of light that moves really, really rapidly due to your hands movements that you can't see. But this thing did not look like that at all. It looked like literally like a cloud when you zoomed in on it, and it was really weird. I have footage of that. That's one of the things I got on film. That's by far the weirdest thing I've ever gotten on footage, I think. And there's another one I got on footage a while back that was also kind of weird. I got it around May 2014 on footage. It was what I call a blue light that was kind of orby, kind of like an orb almost, blue orb, kind of weird. Very, very dim. Um, very, very pale and not very bright, but it was there. It looked very blurry. One of the problems I get from UFO hunting from this chair, which is right next to the window I'm filming out, is that my hand gets sore really quickly. It's not so bad tonight, though, which is interesting. I don't know why. I'm having a break after this a bit of footage because I don't film for like the amount of time I film all at once. I generally have little breaks between the bits of footage, and during those breaks I look up to see if there's UFO reports in my area on UFO hunters, and I'm going to check that between this bit of footage and the next. So stay tuned for that. That will be interesting to see what it's like if there's any good UFO reports. I'll look for ones in New England specifically, not necessarily Massachusetts, but New England. I'm really interested in New England UFO reports. And I've gotten a triangle UFO report from Rhode Island, which was really interesting because the actual body of the ship was actually visible at night, which was interesting because triangles usually don't see the actual body of the ship itself. I have never seen a triangle UFO. I'll admit that right now. It's a very, very rare kind of UFO for me. I've seen mostly weird lights in the sky, but triangles, I've never seen one. Ever. Hold on. I thought that was a light. I was wondering what that light source was. Just ignore that. You can clearly see the street light on the left-hand side of the image now. That is something I mistook for a UFO once. Not lying. This camera amplifies light like crazy, and you can mistake things for UFOs very quickly. Huh. I think I got something. Hold on. I don't know. There's a light right here. It's probably just light shining through the trees. Never mind. But, hold on, I'm seeing something again here. I don't know what that is. I don't think it's a UFO, but there's been UFOs I've seen over in that area before, so... Okay, I'm going to take a break from filming. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Stay tuned. Okay, I'm back to film the night sky for some more people. It's getting a lot darker out there now. I can tell that right away. Even with this camera, it's still pretty dark out. This camera brightens things for me. So, yeah, there were 2 UFO reports on UFO hunters 2 days ago. None of them were in Massachusetts, but they were in neighboring states, Connecticut and Rhode Island. So I want to bring them up a little bit, okay? The one in Rhode Island is the most interesting one because it's a guy in Warwick, Rhode Island, who saw a light in the sky during a foggy weather pattern, and the light moved around in a Z formation. It moved erratically. And to me, if something moves erratically, it's, no matter what it looks like, it's automatically a UFO to me. Because if it moves like a way a plane can't move, it can't be anything mundane or man-made. Unless it's insects or something, which is unlikely. This was a very bright circular light, so... The one in Connecticut is a little bit less interesting. It's a guy who claims he photographed a triangle UFO. He was aiming a camera at the sky and took a picture and saw 3 lights in the form of a triangle. Which is interesting that he never actually saw it with his own eyes when he tried to look right afterwards with his own eyes to see if it was there. He tried to say, oh, it was cloaked. And since these things could possibly be cloaked, maybe that's true. But I don't think that was a real triangle UFO. I think what he saw was an artifact on his camera, honestly, because that makes a lot more logical sense than a triangle UFO when he didn't even physically see it. Unless it just disappeared suddenly. They can do that too. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I'm less convinced that's a UFO than the one in Rhode Island. And they were both seen on the same day, May 9th, 2015. So that's relatively close to where I live, although it's not really close. It's only a few hours away. Warwick, Rhode Island. What can I say about Warwick, Rhode Island? It's right near Providence, so there's a lot of city lights being seen. But I don't think this was a plane, what he saw in Rhode Island. I really don't think it's a plane. I don't think planes can move like that, number one. Number two, I just don't see how I could mistake that for a plane. At all. I don't see how anybody could mistake a plane for that, what he saw at all. Period. So yeah, those are 2 UFO reports I got from UFO hunters I find interesting because they're from states nearby where I live. Too bad there was none in Massachusetts recently. I didn't really check further back for ones earlier on in May, but I do know there was a lot of Massachusetts UFO reports last week. Way too much for its own good. Also, I want to talk about 2 other UFO reports that aren't from New England that I read about online from a website called Above Top Secret. Yeah, Above Top Secret is the best site you can go to get information on UFOs which isn't invaded by dumbass skeptics. I can't say that the other sites you can visit are as fun as this one is, really, because there used to be a site a long time ago, long story short, called Unexplained Mysteries, which used to be a great site for paranormal stuff a long time ago. This had lots of great reports in the past. I'm going to have to dig up a few of them. None of them are UFO reports, however, so they don't really count. But it's been invaded by really hardcore skeptics who are very dumb and make stupid excuses for everything. It's not worth going to anymore, so because of that reason alone. But Above Top Secret's a lot better. The first UFO report I read from them was a guy who was driving to visit his mother-in-law or something like that in Florida, and he lives in Georgia. So they're right next to each other. He takes the highway down and then gets on a rural highway to the town they live in Florida. And apparently this is a very interesting report and a scary one because they were driving along this rural road when they ran into a triangle UFO in the sky. Okay, and this triangle UFO, they were looking at the thing and it was silent, it moved low, and it was just like every other triangle UFO report. 3 lights in the triangle formation, and it couldn't have been planes in the formation or anything. But the very strange thing about it is that he has no recollection of what happened between him seeing the UFO and getting to his family member's porch in Florida. So he didn't know how the hell he got there, which is the really strange and scary thing about this UFO report. It's very, very, very bizarre. I don't know what to say. That could be an alien abduction, people. I don't know if I believe in alien abductions anymore, but that could be one, okay? People, that could be an alien abduction. I hate to say it. But another UFO report I want to get into is a whole bunch of reports that have been happening earlier on, back in 2012, from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. This is a place that has a lot of strange UFO reports, and they keep happening every night there, apparently. I'd love to go there and actually visit the place, but I don't think I'm going to be traveling from Denham, Massachusetts to there very quickly, so... But apparently every night they see weird orbs in the sky that spawn other ones and move in different patterns. And I've seen videos of these orbs. They look weird. They follow different patterns every night, so every night's going to have a different pattern. And they pop up in different formations, and they have other orbs pop up in different places. One night it's a line of orbs popping up behind each other. The next night it's an orb in a square formation of orbs. It's really interesting because I don't know what these could be. Could they be flare exercises by the military? Maybe. But I don't have an explanation for these at all. These aren't planes, even though people try to debunk them as planes on the forum. Still a lot of skeptics there at that point. But yeah, these weren't plane lights or anything. These were definitely something strange going on because they looked very, very weird to me anyway. Because there were orbs moving in a different formation and appearing and disappearing, and it was really, really strange. Definitely one of the strangest UFO reports I've heard of, because these orbs had other orbs popping up in different places, and it couldn't be a plane. Planes don't behave like that, okay? It was silent, so it wasn't a plane, it wasn't a helicopter, same thing. What could it be? Flares, maybe, but these things didn't drop on the sky, they just disappeared. Maybe it's flares, maybe it isn't, I don't know, but it's strange. So I want to bring up that UFO report, and that they apparently are seen every night in Myrtle Beach. And there's a military base nearby that place, so that could explain some of it if they are flares. But in terms of other UFO reports besides those 4 I mentioned, I can't really mention them now because I don't have any to talk about. I hope I see a UFO tonight. There's been very few in our area in Massachusetts. There was a few last week, but not recently. And I know a week isn't a very long time, but still, I hope I see at least one, because I want to see more. Last time I did a UFO hunt last week, I didn't see any. Even though they were seen in our area, I didn't see a thing. So I just deleted the UFO hunt because it wasn't worth keeping up online if nothing was seen. Sometimes I do that. Oh, wait a second. I see something weird. I don't know if that's unusual, but there's a light that just turned on down here. Maybe anomalous light. I don't know. I bet it's just a house light, though. Yeah. Someone turned on a light in the house, and that's what it was. Sometimes it's hard to tell at night what you're seeing. Does someone have a flashlight out there? I see a light that keeps popping up to the left side of that light that turned on, far to the left. I've seen it twice already and I don't know what it is. That being said, it's probably not a UFO. There it is again. I don't know what that is. It's too low to be a UFO. Let me see what I can figure out about it. This is interesting. What the hell could this be? I can't really tell now, but maybe if I amplify the light levels of this thing in a computer program, I can tell what that is. Maybe it's just a house light or something, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's a UFO, but I'm just curious what it is because I don't think there's too many people out there at this time. Alright, I'm done for filming for now. I'll come back in a few minutes. Okay, it's the end of the UFO hunting period. I am going to look at the results to see if I see anything out of the ordinary on the footage. Stay tuned for the results, people. Okay, people, these are the results of tonight. We actually caught a UFO on film tonight, and this UFO is really weird looking, so I want to show it off to you. Right away. Look right around here. See these lights here, right around there? Those are UFO lights. There's a whole formation of white lights here that are very strange. You can see them through the trees. I don't know what these are. These are too high to be house lights. No houses can be ever be this high in the street. Okay, so these aren't house lights. I don't know what these are. But there's definitely sources of light in the tree there, okay? So it's definitely a UFO, people. So that's what we caught on film tonight. We caught a UFO on film. It's amazing. So stay tuned for our next UFO hunt next week, people. See ya.